Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Thank you so much to everyone, especially Vasilis, Satris, and Chris, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to share some statistics and what we do as a company as YoStartups. Pre-accelerator. We work at an idea stage with companies across the world. We work across 20 plus countries now. And we help early stage startups, set up their businesses and move forward. We would have trained over the last 3 years about 1,500 people across different countries. In a lot of places, especially working with the government and agencies, our trained entrepreneurs go on and raise a higher amount of funding and have a better success rate. This is something which we do across the world, and that's what brought us to Europe now to take it forward. We have a very unique program called the Entrepreneurship Lead Program. In this, what we are trying to do is, as you see, more and more, the trade is interconnected across the world. Previously, you produced in one country and you sold in another country. Then came the services outsourcing wave, so the services got outsourced. Now, what we saw is that people are buying in Brazil from Australia, people are buying in Brazil from China, and a lot of cross-border trade starting to happen. Now, for cross-border trade to move forward, e-commerce is the bandwagon. Without e-commerce, it will not happen. And one of the things which we figured out was that most of the entrepreneurs across the world do not know other entrepreneurs from other countries. It's very difficult to set up your business or find something across different parts of the world. Now, while you can move on and sell on the big players, incidentally, most of the big players in some countries charge up to 40% of your revenue in some of the product categories. So the e-commerce seller actually is not left with too much of margin, and they're saying, okay, this is the cost of entry to the market, and they're not able to capitalize the market. What we thought that we would set up a unique program where we bring people from different parts of the world together. We go to different countries, we train people using our proprietary boot camps, and then we select the top 2 winners, and then we possibly pick up 20 countries, get 40 entrepreneurs, and bring them in different hubs. We are bringing people in Thailand together, in Bahrain, Istanbul, possibly Greece. So what happens is 40 to 80 entrepreneurs are traveling across, networking with people and meeting the industry people across. And through that, what's happening is you're building a great relationship. This is something which we are now doing, and our first programs will start in 2019. This is something what we got as client feedback. Last, I think a week back, there was a tech startup weekend. All 3 winners, the first, second, third, came from our programs, and that was really nice. But I was the happiest for the number 3 because we gave him very critical feedback in our boot camp, and he really worked on it and he built his product forward. And this is what we got from Economic Development Board of a country. We've also worked with a lot of governments now. We've set up the e-commerce policy for some of the governments. We've helped them look at e-commerce from a very, very different perspective. We also work with Chulalongkorn in Thailand, where we do a lot of work with them to set up their incubator programs and also help the Thai startups go global. We train their researchers across researchers which are sitting on heavy patents. We work with Petronas, where we are helping them commercialize their technology by using entrepreneurs in different parts of the world. So a researcher may have a great patent and you may have a great use case. Entrepreneur may want to pick it up and say, look, can I get the rights and I want to do it, instead of going to the traditional industry and doing it. Now, that was the introduction about YoStartups. Let me take you now quickly to the investment trends. So this is how we define e-commerce. So we define the e-commerce divided into e-tail and marketplace, payment and financial solutions, delivery services and others. So e-commerce is just not selling your product online. E-commerce is also about the enabling services. So e-commerce has buyers, sellers, and there are enabling services in between. and obviously the logistics services coming in. Well, if any of these 4 pillars are missing, the whole e-commerce system does not work. This is 2018 till now. $92.9 billion invested in e-commerce companies, 1954 deals, 64 countries in 1715. Some of the startups have raised more than 2 rounds. There's quite a lot of capital flowing into e-commerce. The picture looks pretty rosy over here. Now let's get to Europe. $5.3 billion. The number of deals are high. The spread across countries is good. So there is something which is happening in Europe that the quantum of investment is not flowing in. There is 92 billion. This part of the world, the total economy is $18.8 trillion. EU total economy, $18.8 trillion. It's the second biggest economic bloc after the United States. You got great legislation, we heard European Union, how you're putting up the practices, where you're making a single digital market. There's something more, which is possibly, hindering the investments from coming in. Sorry, you can read this, but I'll explain this to you. So this is the global one, on the top one, where we see the number of deals has fallen, is continuously falling across the time series. So it's not easy to get money today, but the quantum of investment is rising. So there was a time which this signifies possibly a consolidation happening in the industry and too many players entering into segments which do not find investor appetite. Now this is very important for an entrepreneur to understand that, because there are a lot of dreams when you start a business, and in most parts of the world, it's your parents, it's your family money, which gets into the seed capital when the youngster comes in. In countries like Greece, Romania, Bulgaria, there's not enough of savings because the economy has been through tough times. So it's very important that the early stage entrepreneurs understand what the investors, or what does it take to build a strong business? Where is the rising sun? Where should you put your efforts? Because you can put your effort into segment X and segment Y. And that's an important perspective to look at. In Europe, if you look at the investment amount this year has fallen too, while across the world the investment amount has increased. The drop's pretty large, when we're seeing it. And when we look deeper into it, you will see that it's the bulk of the investments, and again in Europe also, are going to a particular region. Now, what does it mean? When we look at this, close to $100 billion getting raised, obviously the investors and everybody is looking at segments in which they can multiply their money faster. Internet penetration is not an issue. We are pretty much high in the internet penetration. We saw 83%. The other countries are far more lesser. I think what we seem to infer from our research is there are too many Me Too services. There's too much focus on the travel sector. Now, you can be selling tickets online, and while people are traveling, but there's limited margin, and these industries are getting consolidated. People generally prefer to go online and pick up something which is the hotel center. But again, there's a limited spread there. The Agodas, the Booking.com of the world are already taking a big margin out there. What's needed possibly is new services. Like, this country is blessed with land. Organic food categories, creating services which can go fashion categories, handicrafts. So there could be a lot of new kinds of segments which could come up. Moving forward, if you look at the number of the stages of funding, this is very interesting because what we are seeing across the world in 2018, which is the dark one, the venture funding and the seed funding rounds are declining. So previously, you could get money for your idea. Now, you don't get the money for your idea easily, which means it's more difficult to start up. The Google AdWords, the price over the last 3-4 years has gone up by multiple times now. I think the only people who make money is Google and Facebook at the end of the day from an entrepreneur, because you end up spending a lot of money on AdWords, and the price of AdWords has continuously gone up. Now, this is a very, very important thing for us to remember, because I meet so many entrepreneurs across the world, and you know, when you look into their eyes, you see that they have a lot of hope. Their families are depending, and you know, the parents talk very passionately. Look, my son or my daughter started this business, you know, and we are supporting him. I know a couple of my friends who started their business. Their family used to pick up phone calls, and they do all the support. But they don't have the money, and the initial money is all spent on AdWords, and you're not going to get the seed round coming in. Now, this is very important to know from an early perspective, that if you're not going to get the seed funding in, how does the local ecosystem make businesses in which you can do your MVP and prove your concept or get the cash in the bank account so that you don't go bankrupt and don't shut down? 90% of the startups fail. Now, as humans, we are not that bad. Honestly, we are not that bad. I think it is lesser focus on data and not able to understand the whole trend, so that a lot of people jump into a particular category, later on realizing that they're not going to get the follow-up round. The general expectation is that you will do your MVP, you will prove your model before you go on and raise funds. The second big challenge that people face after they spend their first money is they start networking and sending their pitch decks at a speed. So a lot of time people spend their time and money networking, while when you end up with an investor, they're asking you, okay, you're spending 90% of your time trying to raise money, but where is your business model? What will you do? Incidentally, you know, other parts of the world are growing much faster, and capital always goes to the place where there is opportunity. So today you're competing for capital. In Greece, because of your austerity program, there's not much capital available. So what do the entrepreneurs from Greece or from this part of the world, which is Southern Europe, do? I think it is go news, which is go north, east, west, south. You have to go out to other countries, capture their market, and start doing things. It doesn't take much, it's easy. This is very interesting. This is where Southern Europe is, and this is where Western Africa is. The size of the circle denotes the opportunity. So it's on two axes, the growth in the number of companies and the growth in investment amount. Now, the big buckets are obviously Eastern Asia, Southern Asia. India just saw a deal worth $18 billion when the largest e-retailer was picked up by Walmart. And they came into the market because Walmart is entering in a big way. So you're seeing Amazon, Alibaba, Walmart. They will be three big players. We saw in Brazil, Amazon was way down. What we believe is they will eventually, either try to move up, or Walmart will suddenly try to come in some markets, to do that. But what does it mean for people is the appetite is going there. What is happening in those markets that the appetite is going there? And incidentally, from those markets, most of the tourists are coming here. So if most of the tourists are coming here, what do you do with those people when they end up in your country to get more wallet share? Is it only about the food? Is it only about the hotel? Is it only about the airline? The airline money generally doesn't come into the country because it's a very, very low margin business, and it ends up with the petroleum refiners maximum. When people fly, maximum money goes to the petroleum refiners or the petroleum producing countries, not to the country. While you may have some airport taxes, you can get some money out of the shuttle services, but even if somebody is spending $10,000, the $10,000, most of the money is going to flow out. Because none of the airlines make more than 10% profit. I think hardly they operated at 2 to 3% margin. So this is very important to find out the markets which are really, really big in the world and start looking at it. Eastern Asia has been growing pretty much big. We look at it accounts for about 40.4% of the investments. Southern Asia suddenly picked up. Southeastern Asia is picking up. Now, the opportunity is to build up a global business and find out where you could really set up good businesses. This is interesting in terms of, while everybody talks about e-commerce as per definition can be broken into these categories. Globally, this is the data for the last 5 years, from 2014 to 2018. Globally, a lot of money is being raised in multi-products. But in Europe, we're not seeing too much money being raised in multi-product platforms. That's strange. Europe, most of the money is getting raised in the transportation and logistics sector. Now, interestingly, most of the startups will not be able to get inside that sector completely because there are very heavy cash burn sectors, especially the delivery side of it. Before you attain a certain scale, you're not going to make money. Food and beverages. It's not in the top one. When you look at food and beverage on this side, it is sitting in here. Now, there are underserved segments, or maybe the players are not able to produce or give enough value so that they are not able to attract. So I think there's opportunity in the clothes and apparel segment over here, because we heard Radu say that the fashion and the beauty segment may be one of the biggest segments coming up in this part of the world. The home needs sector has started coming up in a big way in India, in China. So that's something which could come in here. So can the early stage entrepreneurs from this part of the world identify those markets early on, or some of those trends, and then pick them up and start moving forward? It's difficult to build up another Amazon because the early marketplaces were built when GDPR was not there, when the anti-competition laws were not that strong. So you could actually, squeeze the other retailers out and buy consumers in. I know when they were expanding in India, between Amazon and Flipkart, the Indian company, you could buy a $1,000 television set for $100. And they were subsidizing $900 from their pocket. Till the time, they drove out other people. The same was with mobile phones. You could buy an Apple phone for a far lesser price. They would incur a loss. The same was with laptops. But a time came when, the government stepped in, everybody stepped in. But by that time, they had acquired consumers. Now, if someone is looking at, Amazon is so big, I'm going to create another Amazon. Great idea, but you do not have the tactics or the play which they did. The ground's just being changed. When we look at the number of deals also in Europe, we're not seeing too many deals in the media and entertainment space. I think media and entertainment space is another space which comes in. When you have so many tourists coming in, building interfaces in their local languages so that they are more comfortable in terms of being here, in possibly making out a focus group out of this to see if a tourist walks in, how can you increase the wallet share in the economy? One of the things which we were talking to one of the governments was, when the tourist comes in, the biggest hindrance for them to buy anything, is what? All the airlines have reduced their cargo. So if I want to buy something, I'm going to pay 3 times or 4 times the price and taking it back to my country. Now, because now it's 15 kgs and you're coming on vacation, your suitcase itself, even if you buy the lightest one, is about 3.5 kgs. What you're left with 12 kgs. Put in 2 pair of shoes and some jeans. So literally you're not left with much. Now, these are some of the things when you would look at from a perspective. While we're looking at it from an online perspective, I'm asking because you get about 27 million people coming in every year. So 27 million people are walking in this country every year. Can you study them? Can you ask them? Can you make it easier for them to spend money over here? What do they see? I think one country which is really great at this is Singapore. Everybody has a national duty of selling more. So the driver in your cab tells you, why don't you go to the flea market and buy something? And when you get to the flea market, the guy will ask, did you do the duck tour? When you finish that, then they will ask you, did you go to the safari tour? So everybody, and they're not making money out of each other, but as a country, they do a great job of, ensuring every tourist is told multiple times that you need to go there. And, then you say the guy, why are they telling me? Maybe it's really good because the guy doesn't know the other guy. So that's something which, could be an interesting stuff. These are how the different regions in Europe fared in terms of investment. In the total investment, Eastern Europe in 2018 in the number of deals and the amount of money. And when we look at Southern Europe again, so bulk of the money is getting into the Northern Europe side and the Western Europe side. Again, different sectors, just a pie chart, a lot of data there. Largely, this is Western Europe and that's the Northern Europe. It's transportation and logistics area. Then you got a bit of the stuff coming in on the fintech side there. But there's a lot of opportunity in these sectors, EdTech, which we will look at in the next one. Eastern Europe is pretty much different. You don't see too many slices in the pie, which means there's just not enough companies out here. The second thing could be most of the companies would have migrated from here because of high tax rate to other regions. And it's not there. But eventually the money is not flowing back to the economy here. And in Southern Europe, the bulk, if you see, is just in one sector and you just see 5 more there. Just in terms of the big sectors which are picking up globally, agri-tech is coming up in a big way with big investments happening in China there. Real estate and home decor coming up. We're seeing EdTech coming up in a big way. These are new sectors which people potentially could pick up in this part of the world and start creating value. And because there are just not enough companies there, so this could really work well. That's from my side. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much.